You ever wonder why no matter how hard you try, something invisible seems to block your path? What if your struggles aren't just coincidences, but symptoms of an ancient law you were never told about? The Hermetic masters spoke of it. Religions buried it. And modern society? It distracts you just enough to make sure you never see it. But it's there, working behind the scenes. It's the reason you keep meeting the same type of people, facing the same emotional patterns, attracting the same failures, not because you're cursed, but because energy, once set in motion, repeats until transformed. There's a silent mechanism inside you, constantly shaping your outer reality, and you've probably been feeding it without even knowing. Most people spend their entire lives reacting to its effects, never understanding the real cause. But if you knew where it begins, you could finally stop spinning in circles. And it starts here. This Hermetic principle goes by many names: karma, universal echo, vibrational return, but they all point to the same truth. Every thought, every emotion, every choice sends a signal into the field, and the field responds, not with punishment, not with reward, but with perfect reflection. If your life feels stuck, it's not because you're unlucky, it's because something inside you keeps broadcasting an old signal. And here's the twist. Most people don't realize their strongest transmissions come not from conscious intention, but from unresolved emotion. That heartbreak you buried, the fear you masked with fake confidence, the guilt you never voiced, those are the real programmers of your reality. They vibrate quietly, but consistently. They magnetize the same outcomes over and over until you either collapse or awaken. So what happens when you finally change that inner code? Everything. But to do that, you have to find where it's hiding. Most people try to fix their struggles on the surface, change the job, end the relationship, start a new habit. But they never go deep enough to find the energetic pattern beneath it all. The Hermetic law reveals that reality doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to what you are. So if you keep attracting chaos, disappointment, or resistance, it's not the world against you. It's your inner frequency mirroring itself. And here's the catch. Frequency isn't fixed, but identity is sticky. You've wrapped your sense of self around past wounds, labels, roles, traumas. That creates a magnetic loop, pulling similar experiences back to you. The only way to break it is to become the observer, not the identity. To step back from the you that's reacting and see the program running underneath. And when you do that, the loop weakens. You gain the power to choose differently. But that power, it's not given. It has to be reclaimed. If you're starting to see patterns in your life differently, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. This channel is about decoding reality, and what you learn next will change the way you see everything. The Hermetic masters knew something most people today still don't. Energy follows attention. Wherever you place your awareness, that's where reality begins to organize itself. So if you constantly focus on struggle, fear, lack, guess what you energize? More of it. But here's the paradox. Trying to think positive doesn't fix the root issue, because most people use it to avoid their pain, not face it. And pain that's ignored becomes power that works against you. The real shift happens when you learn to sit with the emotion without judgment and witness it dissolve in the light of awareness. That's not just therapy, that's alchemy. You transmute the poison. You interrupt the karmic cycle. And for the first time, your vibration begins to rise not from force, but from alignment. This is why the ancient Hermetics didn't seek salvation. They sought understanding. Because once you understand the pattern, you're no longer trapped in it. There's a secret most people never hear in spiritual circles. Your subconscious isn't your enemy. It's your loyal recorder. It simply repeats what it's been fed. But here's the catch. 95% of what runs your life doesn't come from conscious thought. It comes from the deep programming written in childhood, trauma, repetition, and societal hypnosis. That's why Hermetic teachings emphasize self-observation, above all else. When you catch yourself reacting, not thinking, but reacting, you're seeing your code in action. That's the moment of power, because awareness interrupts automation. Every reaction you bring to light becomes a choice instead of a compulsion. That's where liberation begins. You don't have to force a new vibration. You dissolve the old one by refusing to act it out again. And with each conscious choice, your energetic field starts aligning with a different timeline, one not ruled by the past, but shaped by presence. The shift doesn't happen through force, it happens through awareness. Most people try to escape their patterns by pushing harder, visualizing more, or chasing a better version of themselves. But that only strengthens the loop. The Hermetic truth is this: what you resist persists, and what you observe transforms. Energy reorganizes in the presence of stillness. When you bring conscious awareness into an old habit or emotional loop, you don't need to destroy it. You simply stop feeding it, and that's what breaks the chain. This is why the ancient initiates spent so much time in silence and self-study. They weren't avoiding the world, they were rewriting their vibration before acting in it. Your external life is a printout of your internal resonance. Want to change the script? Don't attack the scenes, change the projector. Your beliefs, your frequency, your subconscious patterns. That's where the hidden cause of struggle lives, and that's where it dies. So here's what the Hermetic Masters knew. You don't fight the external world to change your fate. You shift the internal code that generates your outer reflection. Struggle isn't just suffering, it's feedback. Every repeated pattern, emotional trigger, or frustrating block isn't a punishment. It's a pointer, a cosmic mirror showing you what frequency you're still broadcasting. The moment you take radical responsibility for what you're emitting, the universe starts responding differently. This is why change never comes from blame. As long as you think something out there is doing this to you, you give away your power. But when you realize your energy is the broadcast tower, your choices become sacred. You're no longer reacting to life, you're shaping it. The law of cause and effect then becomes your ally, not your captor. You're not stuck in the loop. You're now writing the next pattern, consciously, intentionally, aligned. So now the real question is, will you keep running the same energetic loop, or will you disrupt it from within? The Hermetic Masters weren't superhuman. They were just radically honest with their own vibration. They didn't wait for a savior. They decoded the cause behind the effect. The moment you stop blaming the world and start listening to the signals inside you, fatigue, triggers, repeated setbacks, you begin your real transformation. It's not about fixing the world. It's about decoding your frequency. That's where the law of cause and effect becomes magical. When used consciously, it creates miracles. When ignored, it creates chaos. The choice has always been yours. Reality is nothing but a mirror, and struggle is nothing but static in your signal. You are not broken. You are broadcasting old data, and that means you can reprogram it. Start today. Shift one thought, one belief, one breath. The loop begins to break the moment you do. What if your biggest struggles are not meant to be solved, but decoded? Have you been trying to fix your life instead of understanding its message?